For this video, we will be looking at what biomechanics and notational analysis is and how it can be used during a game of basketball. This is the assignment scenario. What is biomechanics for? Biomechanics are used for lots of different things. They can be used for identification of the optimal technique for enhancing sports performance and also the analysis of body loading to determine the safest method for performing a particular sport or task. This will ensure that the performer has the best technique whilst also being able to perform it safely so that they will not injure themselves. They also do an assessment of muscular recruitment and loading, as well as doing an analysis of sport and exercise equipment. For example, for badminton, they would look at the shoes, surfaces and the rackets to see if they are working well for the player, and if they are not, how they could change them. Biomechanics either enhance a person's performance or reduce injury. Observation. So what happens is the athlete will perform in a competitive situation, and then the coach will then observe this performance and analyse the performance, and then the feedback is given to the performer, and then together the coach and the athlete make the changes. Notational analysis is the study of movement patterns, strategy and tactics in team sports, and put simply is gathering and analysing information that has been gained from observing a performance in a competitive situation. Hughes says that notational analysis is an objective way of recording performance so that key elements of that performance can be qualified in a valid and consistent manner. From analysing a list of measurable performance markers are made, and the analysis is normally carried out for the opposing team as well as your own side, so you can see where your own team and where the opponent's strengths and weaknesses are to give you a better chance of beating them. The evolution of notational analysis. Sanderson came up with symbols for 17 different strokes in squash, and then watched up to 5 to 8 hours of squash to record the shots accurately, and from those he saw that there is an average of 1,000 shots, and he had about 30 pages of information about all these different shots. From this information he found that what shots were winning, and he wrote up a report and had large volumes of data from it. Hughes, 1987, used software to compare successful and unsuccessful performances so that he could see what patterns were best. Later on, he extended his research to tennis so that he could see the patterns that occurred, and he used technical analysis to see and saw how the norms were changing with advances in performance and equipment. For example, he saw that in about 10 years, a 20-shot rally went to a 12-shot rally. Performance criteria. Performance criteria are the key factors which are important for successful performance. Hughes and Franks 2004 said that a performance indicator is a selection or a combination of action variables that aim to define some or all aspects of a performance. As shown on the screen, the criteria for badminton is mainly looking at the shots played. However, later on you will see the criteria of basketball, which is very different. Each sport has its own criteria, and the criteria can look at one single player or a team as a whole. There are three things that we look at when we're analysing a performer: movement, technical and tactical. Movement. Riley and Thomas analysed the movements of English First Division soccer players. They specified the work rates of the different positions and the distance covered in the game and the percentage time of each position in the different area of classifications. That then became the standard to compare to, and so we could see the behaviour norms. This was, however, very time consuming, and now they are computerised, which are more effective and also quicker. Modelling movement. So now so that now we can make specific training programs so that different positions in the sport can get their own program so that they can improve. Tactical. First of all, they recognise the tactical patterns of play during your sport. And this, however, varies at different levels of play. So if they are more matured or they have a high level of play, then their tactical patterns will be very different to a beginner. And then the coaching needs to be varied according to the skill level and technical prowess. And also you need to have the knowledge of the opposition's tactics so that they can pick out their patterns and see where to play. Technical. To define quantitatively where techniques fails or excels has very practical uses for coaches and sports scientists, and these are typically shown as a frequency or a percentage for attempts and successes and also fails. The basketball performance criteria are the following. It's got the 2-point shot, 3-point, layup, free throws, steals, turnovers, assists, fouls, defensive and offensive rebounds. The ones that are highlighted in green will be the skills that we're going to be looking at, especially for the forward, and we will be breaking these skills down. The 2-point. 2 points are awarded to players who successfully shoot the ball through the hoop from anywhere inside the 3-point line. This can be done by shooting a jump shot, laying the ball into the rim, or slamming the ball through the hoop, known as a dunk. It is very important for a forward as it is the shot that they will most likely use to get points to their team. Next we've got the layup, and the layup in basketball is a 2-point shot attempt made by leaping from below, laying the ball up near the basket and using one hand to bounce it off the backboard and into the basket. Layups are also very important for forwards as they are the ones who will most likely receive the pass in the key while still moving so that they can perform the layup. As shown in the picture below, that is how a layup is performed. Next, got the free throws. Free throws are unopposed attempts to score points from a restricted area on the court and generally awarded after a foul on the shooter by the opposing team. Each successful free throw is worth 1 point and they get 2 attempts, so they can get a maximum of 2 points. They're usually done by the forwards as they are possibly the best shooters and so will be given 3 throws to do it. Defensive rebounds occur when the defence obtains the possession of the ball after a missed shot by the offence. The forwards are the most important ones to this as they are usually the bigger people and so will be able to get these rebounds easier. Offensive rebounds is there are rebounds secured by an offensive player when his or her teammate has missed a shot. When this occurs, the team has a chance to secure second chance points, which are especially valuable. And they are the same, the forwards will be using this one as well because they are the bigger people. So we'll be able to get these balls easier. The method of notational analysis that I used was step 1. First of all, we had to make a data sheet, which you can see on the right hand side of the screen. And we were made familiar with what each shot is so that when we were watching the person, we could see what shots they were using and whether it was unsuccessful or successful. We then picked one person and watched them live. And for every, say, 2-point they did, we made a tally of whether it was unsuccessful or successful. And then afterwards, we analysed the data. Step 5 is an added step that doesn't have to be done, but it will make your results more accurate, as you can then watch a recorded video of the live session that the performer did, and then tally it up again on an identical sheet to make sure that you haven't missed anything. Evidence says me watching the film, watching the players live, and then taking the notes, and this is the schematic view of a player running up and down the court. These are data collection sheets. There are also evidence. So on the left is the live one. So you've got the live and the video done on that one as well. Evaluation for notational analysis. So the advantages of notational analysis is that it can give you good, reliable feedback, so that you can see where you're going wrong and then what you need to improve on. It also removes some of the subjectivity from the players and the coach, and you can use high-level software to give you better analysis, and this can also reduce time and enhance the presentation of data. Software can, however, be expensive, as you need to purchase software, and also you need to get a video camera, which is expensive compared to just using a pen and paper. It can also highlight the percentages of a total performance criteria that are successful, and it can also recognise different criteria, so that it will be different for someone who is a forward, someone who is defensive, because they're doing different shots. It can uncover strengths and weaknesses that could have been overlooked in both your own team and the opposition, so that you can find your own tactics and also what the opposition's tactics are, so next time you play them it will be easier to win. It can also be a reassessment tool, so that improvements can be identified, so you can make these improvements. However, there are some disadvantages. It takes time to get everything analysed, especially if it's a whole team being analysed, and it's also you also need skilled observers to collect the data, as they need to have knowledge of the skills, and also you might need you'll need more than one observer if you are analysing a whole team's performance. The results might not be 100% reliable, and there's ambiguity with this as well, as it doesn't give a whole picture. For example, some people may have scored 3 out of 4 shots, and so their percentage will be 75%, whereas someone else might have not done any shots, so then we'll get 100% even though they didn't score any. So there's something there as well. And also, to get reliable data, you can't just use notational analysis alone. You would have to use lots of different things to make it good. Thank you.